We used to Jerry making some bonehead moves. We used to him coming out saying stuff like this. But end up looking like this. But let's give credit where credit is due. And Jerry, you did it. He really did it. But before I start, I got to say something because it's been a whole bunch of them that popped out. I got to say hi to my haters because they all showed up. And most of them are Philadelphia Eagles fans. So I'm going to say, this to my haters.
Well. The most diabolical haters this side of the Mississippi.
Hi, haters. The Dallas Cowboys did it today. They made some interesting moves. Let's talk about it for a minute, man. Today, the Dallas Cowboys traded away a first-round pick, not for next year, but the year after, and a second-round pick for next year, and Mavi Smith for Quinn Williams from the New York Jets. Also, we traded a seventh-round pick, basically a pack of Skittles and some bubble gum, for Logan Wilson. Now, the reason why I'm a little skeptical about this move is several things. One, it tells me that Flus needed some guys for his system, right? He needed some guys to actually run his system. So that tells me that they haven't given up on Eberflus, and Flus is going to be here for a second. Cool, right? But let's take a look at this move a little deeper. Quinn Williams is going to be 28, but he still ranks amongst defensive tackles. Quinn Williams he has 24 run stops, which is tied first amongst defensive tackles. He also has 14 run stuffs, which is tied for first amongst NFL defensive tackles. 41% double team rate. That means 41% of the time this guy's on the field, he's getting double teamed, right? And you 16 quarterback pressures, right? On 201 pass attempts at this point. So I mean, look, if you look at it, he's still in the prime of his career. He's 28. We have him locked up for 3 years. Good deal. You say, well, Logan Wilson was sitting on the bench, Ahmad. He was sitting on the bench on a horrible Cincinnati defense. That he was. But he's an Eberflus guy. Let me show you why. Here's a linebacker who's not running around tackles like Kenneth Murray. I'm sorry, I got to call you out, Kenneth. And if you see this, I'm calling you out for real, because it's horrible. Bro, you never mind. Let's not even get into that. But I will say, Logan Wilson is a thumper. He's a guy who's going to come down. He's going to fill holes. Now, let me tell you about defensive tackles, right? Defensive tackles who get double teamed are the ones who are going to keep your alignment from getting to the next level and blocking your linebackers. Why is that so important? Well, let me tell you. When you have an average linebacker who's able to run in the NFL, you're dealing with the top 1% of players who actually play this game. So in the NFL, if you have an average linebacker who's able to run from side to side and get to the ball carrier without being impeded, at that point, you make that good linebacker great. You make that average linebacker really good. So you have a guy in Logan Wilson who's definitely had his best year about 2 years ago. But like I said, he got set on the bench for younger talent. But you have this guy who's able to just run free and do his big one. Now, so I'm dealing with the acquisitions that we got today. You're filling Quinn Williams up, and you're putting Quinn Williams at the defensive tackle position. Then you're putting him right next to Clark, who's the other person that we got in that Michael Parsons trade, right? So now you have two really big guys. You have horses, big humans. And like I told y'all, when I went to the Dallas Cowboy game earlier this year, we needed bigger humans on the defensive line. That's how we get pushed around, right? So you have these two big humans at defensive tackle. You can slide Osa, who is a defensive tackle, but he's lighter. He's light in the butt, but you can slide him out to defensive end for rundowns. And then on the other side, you have Donovan Ezeraku, right? So here you go. Now you have a front four that's comparable, a front four that can do some things. And if you start having to double team Quinnen Williams, now you leave man on man everywhere else, right? So you leaving Clark to be able to beat his man. Now you're leaving Osa to beat his man, and then you're leaving Ezeraku to beat his man. And then on passing downs, you have Jadeveon Clowney who could come in on passing downs and rush the passer. You have Dante Fowler who could come in on passing downs and rush the passer. You've gotten better. Now let's talk again. You have, after this break, you have Overshown coming back from an injury. Yes, we don't know what he's going to be after the injury, but he only knows one way to play the game of football, and that's with his hair on fire. So you have him coming, who's going to be your left outside linebacker, and you have Logan, who's now fixing to be your green dot. And then you can put, who I think Kenneth Murray's better suited anyway, out on the right side, the strong side linebacker. You can put him there and just let him go to work, which I think at that position he'll be okay. Or you could bring LaFau in, and he's doing his thing. I think he needs a chance. But from sideline to sideline, you have linebackers who are going to be able to scrape and basically run around unimpeded. That helps the defense. Now you can start simulating and bringing pressure. Now you can start putting things in perspective from a defensive standpoint, and I think that does help Eberflus. You're saying, well, Mod, your cornerbacks, they stink. You should have got Minkah Fitzpatrick. I wanted Minkah Fitzpatrick. I thought it would be great. But you have Josh Butler, Thompson. You have my guy coming back, number 28. I'll think of his name here in just a second, from Ohio State. He's coming back from injury. He's been on IR. And then, of course, you have Diggs coming back, who's going to be on the other side from Bland. And then you have Siobhan Revelle. We don't know what Siobhan's going to be, but he's going to be our guy in the slot, right? So we're getting better. I like that. I like the moves that were made. Definitely, when you look at it, I think it's something that's going to help us. I think Malik Hooker is his name, number 28. So you get Malik Hooker back. You put Malik Hooker back there. Now you don't have to rely on Donovan Wilson in passing downs. You have your guys who are better in passing downs. Josh Butler and Thompson are better in passing downs than Wilson is. Ahmad, I hear what you're saying. Ahmad, this team would have to win 7 of the next 8 games to get into the playoffs. It's not just about us getting into the playoffs. It's not just about that. You need to hear me and hear me well, Cowboys Nation. I took my feelings out of the season. So I'm not, talking from an emotional standpoint. I'm happy that Jerry didn't punt on this season, right? I'm happy that he didn't punt. You got guys now, Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson. You got guys who are locked up for 2 and 3 years. So next year, we're in a 3 to 4 year window of our prime offensively, right? 3 to 4 year window of our prime offensively. So you're going to develop some type of continuity with your squad for the end part of this year. You're going to know who you are. You're going to develop an identity with your squad with this squad, this core group. Your core is now good. You have a core of good football players. That's what's so interesting. And that was the thing that we needed. And I'm going to tell you, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that Jerry actually did something, right? So this being said, I want Cowboy Nation to understand this. Here it is, where the rubber meets the road. Regardless if we make the playoffs or not, this team getting the opportunity to spend some time together, get continuity. You got Logan Wilson as your green dot. You got older, you got wiser, you got more experience. You got Quinn Williams, who will be taking on double teams all the time. You got Clark, who can now start to beat his man one-on-one. Then You move Osa out, and you have all three of these guys at the same time. You paid Osa because you believe in him, and Osa is a problem if you got him one-on-one on somebody. He's a problem, especially against the run. So now you make your defense, and late in the year, every year, the Cowboys are bad against the run. But right now, we're just bad everywhere, right? So this improves your defense. And then with the players that we have coming back off of injured reserve, and this move helps the Dallas Cowboys to get to a place where we haven't been in a while, where your 52-man roster, the core, is really good. Then you say, well, why didn't we shop? Why didn't we use those draft picks? Well, you don't know. There's no draft pick that you have that's equal to Quinnen Williams. Nobody in this draft equal to Quinnen Williams. So you did your big thing with that, right? But the two draft picks that we have two firsts. So we could turn those into Arvell Reese, linebacker from Ohio State, 6'4", 230. Caleb Downs, safety from Ohio State, which we desperately need safety help. Or we could go Caleb Downs, and then we could go what's his name? Jared McCoy, Tennessee, cornerback. And we could definitely go there. But we have options. We can address the safety. We can address the cornerback. We can address the linebacker. We can address the safety. We can do all of that with our first-round picks. So this was a good thing. This is Mod, and man, I'm excited. This is your Cowboys Weekly Report. Peace.